Help them.
Well, it's finally time for a game about dwarves. Fuck racial diversity. There ain't no elves, no humans, no bugbears, troglodytes, treants, were creatures, fae, waterborne dragons, or half giants. Just dwarves. Here's a list of shit that you can count on. Crazy names like Gurgleguard, Tanserfrand, Gratushanakaragarnas, and then Tungdil. Yeah, you can expect some Scottish accents, and you know there's going to be some beards and references to said beards. Lots of talk about weaponry, stoicism for days, and your various racial insults. You know there's going to be a lot of references to stone, a lot of beer, or ale, and then stinky things.
That is why I, too, lodge a claim to the throne and why I think I am the more capable heir.
Thank you for your speech, Tungdil Bolafar. The council may now ask questions.
Yes? Your question?
Just so I get this right, you want to forge a weapon that is described in a book of fairy tales from the perished land to kill a demon that none of us has ever seen?
I have most definitely seen it. Goimgar, Yellow Belly, Shimmerbeard.
We have seen the perished land with our own eyes, and its master Nodon could not be killed. Many have died for the books in which it is written how keen fire can be made. And the Magus did all he could to get his hands on the two halves made of Sigurd Daisy wood. Those are the facts, whether you like them or not. These problems won't solve themselves, so I ask you, is it the Dwarven way to step aside and do nothing, or is it our way to act?
To act? We don't hide away.
If the humans won't stop the perished land, then we will.
We shouldn't get drawn in. Let's show the Magus the strength of the dwarves.
Bislipper?
Nothing you say will convince anyone here. You didn't grow up amongst us, and no one knows if you really are a fourthling. I do not believe there has ever been a more unworthy heir to the throne of the High King. You are just wasting our time.
Oh, I didn't know you were the spokesperson for everyone at this assembly, Bislipper. I had the impression that every dwarf is capable of forming their own opinion.
Absolutely.
Hear, hear!
He's right, you know.
Keep out of it, Bislipper.
A colourful trader's wagon drawn by two stocky horses is coming towards you. A small man is sitting on the box seat. And
This game is a really good game. I was surprised, pleasantly surprised. Here are some positives. It's got great writing. I mean, really good writing. I don't know. I was just really taken back by the writing and the way that you're sort of like brought into the world through the writing has really been impressive. The soundtrack is really good. The navigation system is pretty cool. There's like almost a grid kind of thing. You have to get from point A to point B through, yeah, I mean you can kind of pick which direction you go, but it was an interesting system. There's just a lot of things to enjoy about the Dwarves. I'm loving the narration. The way the story is told and the events are so well described. there's a great level of detail. As you traverse the map, it really puts you there, and having all the text read by great voice actors is really engaging. I love how the text is read and then you have sort of a main voice actor come in, so there's a lot of variation. You have this really awesome narrator, and she, in my opinion, really makes the game come alive. Your main character is a bit of an outlier. His name is Tungdil, and he was raised by humans. So, he's kind of learning about dwarven culture, and as you learn, or as he learns, I should say, you also learn. So that was kind of an interesting setup. He also starts kind of weak, and as you level up, you get these new combat abilities that make you pretty formidable.
I should be able to get up.
You know, it's sad to say the early reviews of this game kept me from buying it, and most of the reviews said that the game itself was decent, but that the combat was awful. And so I just figured, well, you know, there are so many other role-playing games out there, no sense in just kind of picking up a half-assed RPG. But I gotta say, that line is just utter horseshit. The combat is actually very well thought out and executed. There's this really cool real-time, turn-based hybrid that I wasn't expecting, and I really haven't experienced quite like this. I think it's a great system, and I honestly think that more role-playing games should take advantage of it. I was just talking about this game Elix, and how some sort of a turn-based real-time hybrid would have made that game a lot more appealing, and this game does that very, very well. Combat has a lot of varied scenarios. Some of them are very, very difficult, but they're almost always just a lot of fun. Really cool villains. Some of the scenarios have a lot of weight to them, and I got beat quite a lot in this game, but I really didn't mind. I kind of wanted to go back, retry certain things, use potions or items in a new way. And I never found myself frustrated when I got defeated. It was, I guess, I always felt like it was well earned or well deserved.
When he sees the concerned look on your face, he adds,
I don't blame them. It's our fault too. We turned our backs on other races. People fear what they don't know.
We must press on. It was a pleasure meeting you, Mort.
Mort smiles.
The feeling is mutual, Tungdil. Fracas be with you.
Mort spurs the horses on, and the colourful wagon jolts into motion.
You shouldn't be so trusting.
The wagon is no more than a few yards away when Boindil looks at you reproachfully.
A dwarf who lives alone among humans for years on end and disowns his kingdom? Don't you know what that means?
He's an outcast, Tungdil. His kingdom and his clan have banished him. It's a severe punishment, only dealt out for serious offences.
The twins enter into a long discussion about what crime the trader may have committed, and go on to teach you the basics of dwarven law. As dramatic as their accounts may be, you didn't have the impression that Mort was a criminal, nor that he suffered particularly from his exile.
Pretty impressive what our forefathers achieved here, isn't it?
The kingdoms all work together. If we do the same, nothing is impossible.
Hear, hear.
I hope you understand me asking, but there seems to be bad blood between you and...
So I find myself back into an isometric, action-based role-playing game, and I've got to say that this game really does it well. If you think about a game like Numenera, you know, that game it's got style and atmosphere for days, but the combat, the action system isn't very engaging. This game has a really fun combat system. It's tactical, it's unpredictable, it's satisfying, and it's a blast. It's also got a really great story full of overthrowing the throne of the dwarves and, of course, staving off the end of the world. It's like the world is always ending in role-playing games. And it's also got a lot of rich culture and wonderful characters, wonderful villains. There's just so much to appreciate about this game. I can only hope that the developers saw enough money come in to warrant a sequel, because they really have done some amazing things mechanically, through storytelling, through the writing, and of course through the programming of the combat system. It's all very good. So if you get the chance, I highly recommend picking up this game. As an isometric role-playing game, you'll have a blast. If you're a fan of any kind of high fantasy, you'll really appreciate what's going on here and have a great time.
You see sketches and
The Dwarves is kind of like, it's a game like your Uncle Bobby. You know, it's solid, it's kind, it's there to take you out to Mazzio's Pizza after you get a good report card. What did you do to deserve such a blessing? Probably not really a goddamn thing. It's all just chaotic chance. But here's to hoping you can appreciate a fleeting moment of joy before the world goes up in flames.